Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for a back and bicep day, and we started the day off with weighted pull-ups. I do want to be clear with all of this because it's come up a couple times. Arms are the highest priority for me, and I mean the entire arm, bicep, tricep, forearm, all of it. But obviously we still need to train this other stuff. You know, I have people who make the silly statements like, well, you should just stop training your back and your bench press while you catch those up. And that's just really silly. Like, you shouldn't do that. You just train these things harder. And again, it's not even about genetics. I'm not trying to fix a genetic weakling, which I tell people is probably a mistake. It is due to just undertraining my arms for years and years relative to my other stuff, combined with where my genetic structure is. It's just a bad combination. So it's not even that I have small arms. They're pretty big by normal standards. I'm just, over 200 pounds and pretty lean and have a big torso and legs. So that being said, we still come in and train the back. I'm going to train my back pretty hard. It's just only going to be 6 sets. So nice wide grip weighted pull-ups. This is what I've used to build my back. Again, you guys can see my lat development. So again, anyone who doesn't like the way I do rows, pull-ups, all this, I usually get people who make comments, and I'm like, yeah, but they work. Look at my back. It all works. And it is about knowing your body, knowing the movement patterns, having a mind-muscle connection for these things, right? Knowing where your muscles work for your structure, knowing where the different points are relative to your structure as far as what's happening. Okay, so that being said, this all works for me. So again, at this point, I'm not even trying to focus on arms on my back or chest if I'm just building back and chest, right? So just like benching with a nice wide grip again, just doing it that way. And then we come in and we do lots of arm work. So again, just like triceps are getting 2 days every week because I overhead press on shoulder day. So we come in and we do more triceps on that day. I do triceps on my chest day also. Back and bicep day is mostly biceps. It's mostly biceps. We just do these movements. I come in and do some nice, strict, pretty rows right at temporary muscle failures, which is about 10 reps with this weight. And people who don't understand what the failure means, meaning I come down for a rep, it starts to get heavy, and I know that when I go strict and pause, it sticks at the bottom. If I don't cheat, if I try to on that last rep, I get there and I can tell that I can't move it without cheating or using any body English, then we're at failure. Pull-ups more or less the same thing. We get up there and then know that last one is a little grindy and we stop. So some of these I could be at maybe 1 rep from true failure. A couple of these sets are to failure. So that's pretty much how I do it. My back will probably still continue to grow just from this. Also keeping in mind, even though this is only 6 sets and most of my stuff I am taking everything's volumes up a little bit other than quads. My quads just have never needed a lot of volume. Right, and I've still got big legs, but I don't need them to get too much bigger in proportion to other stuff. So there's where my back is with a lat spread. So anyone's like inflated lat syndrome, no, that's when I actually spread them. A little bit different. So it's really a 2-to-1 here. So I'm going to come in and do 12 sets for biceps after this. Okay, so we're taking that up. So it's really only 6 sets for lats. But keep in mind, I do pullovers on chest day. Chest and tricep day does get pullovers, which are a lat exercise also. So that does effectively bring me up to about 9 sets. So again, if we count the pullovers. All right, so then I do 12 sets of direct bicep work. 12 sets, all hard sets. And again, picking every angle. So the thing is, it's not just about, hey, can we do some volume? It's like, let's work all the angles so we get a nice big movement. Right? Strict barbell curl is technically, I consider this to be pretty much a compound exercise for the biceps. Why? Because we have that shoulder movement involved. It's a nice standing movement. For all purposes, this is as close as we're going to get to a compound movement for the biceps, where the biceps are a primary mover. Because even a chin up, the lats technically do more of the work. But this is still a compound movement because there are some other muscles involved with the shoulders and other stuff. But we start with this nice big movement, all right? And it's just a full range of motion exercise because I lean forward just a hair so I can lock at the bottom, and then we come all the way up. So we take that joint through the full range of motion We have a little bit of shoulder movement to make it into that compound movement that works that second function of the bicep. And then after that, I hit the stretch position exercises from both ankles, right? In terms of both shoulder angles, I'm going to do an incline in which the shoulder is behind me, and then we do a preacher curl, which is strict in the shoulder out in front of you. This makes sure that I've worked every possible angle of the bicep, which you guys will see, and then we'll finish up with band curls just to get that pump, that tendon health, that extra blood flow. So again, every possible angle of the bicep has been worked, and really the bicep doesn't even have that many functions or angles, but again, we're just making sure that if I'm going to do these sets, I want multiple rep ranges, right? Because we've dropped as low as about 9 reps on some of this, and then we go up to 25 plus for the bands. The barbell curls were right at 12. I might have only got 11 on the last one. I used my normal weight here, but because of weights dropping a little bit with my carbs down, the scale's going down a little. I lost a rep today on these versus what I did, and that's okay. I can live with that. I can live with that. If we continue to get leaner like we're seeing here, week to week, we're in a good place. So, incline curls. So again, these are 33s. Yeah, I think that's what I've been using. Yeah, 33 pounds. So, doing these for 9s now, and I'm hitting muscle failure on those. You guys will notice right there, yeah, that's muscle failure. I'm straining and grinding with that last rep, then it comes down and I just can't move it. So again, almost failing on that rep in the middle, but having to grind through. So again, we're right at 9. The same thing happened with the preacher curls. But a lot of it, one of the things I noticed it last week too, when I do the barbell curls instead of the easy bar, it just works my biceps harder. So I feel like my biceps walk into these more fatigued than they do when I was doing the other exercise. So there's something to be said for that. So that is also a factor. It's because the barbell curls themselves are, when they're done with the straight bar the way I'm doing them, takes a little bit of that load on the brachialis, puts more of it on the bicep. All right, preacher curls, and I think there as I'm getting into position there, we can see where the upper chest was. All that density's coming along. All that's developing well. All the incline work I do is helping. Because keeping in mind, I do every week. I am doing at this point both barbell and dumbbell incline. I do flat bench still, but only 3 sets a week. So incline is getting a big priority because I want to continue to just chisel that area. I want that upper chest separation. Again, if I'm going to chase more of a classic aesthetic golden era look, that upper chest development and separation is critical. So it's coming along pretty well. It could be a little better, so we're going to keep working on it. While arms, rear delts, things like that get prioritized a little bit more. Some of those show muscles that got neglected when I was a strength athlete, we come in and we work them. So the preacher curl, doing them with a dumbbell, I really like the easy bar on these, and I feel like it works really well, but because I have that old bicep injury, I want to make sure both sides are getting balanced. So I'm like, I might as well do a dumbbell because I already get a barbell for the first exercise. All right, we already get a barbell. So I want to come in, I want to make sure that it's going to be even sides. And so I take that side to where I'm missing a chunk of muscle, and I work it first. Interestingly enough, though, some of these sets, it gets 1 more rep. I think for the total workout, I managed to do 1 more rep on the weak side. So again, it's interesting how the body compensates over time. And that was something people told me, after all that and the injury and everything involved. They're like, well, you could just use dumbbell to balance it. And I did immediately, and there was still a size difference, even though I got the left side at one time stronger, right? It's just funny how that works. But I feel like on something like this, it could be that the brachialis is compensating. So my left brachialis is probably bigger than my right, and the brachialis gets a little more involved for the preacher curl. So that could also be a factor. It's not just the muscle itself. But again, these felt good. My biceps are pretty lit by this point. By this point in the workout, by the time I'm to these preacher curls, my biceps feel like I can't keep going, but I just keep pushing them anyways. And again, I wouldn't do this with most muscles, but when I have something like this that's been undertrained, I feel like, and it's a smaller muscle, my body can handle the recovery from it. So we're just going to push and push and push. So again, biceps, triceps, they're going to get a big, big, big priority. The triceps just in terms of the 2 days, but the biceps, I'm really, really pushing these sets. So you guys notice this stuff to failure, a little bit of forced reps if I have to, like I'm doing on some of these, just to get that rep. And then we finish up after this with the banded work to failure. And they were 25 plus on those. So I'm using that lighter band and standing on it, and it gives me an insane pump. It's also going to help build that tendon. It's not just about getting those last few muscle fibers and getting that metabolic fatigue. It's also about the tendon health. It's also about getting blood flow, right? I want to get all that so that, again, it helps facilitate better growth over time. Okay, so just like I do all the band press downs for the triceps, we're going to do band curls at the end of the bicep workouts, just to, again, further get that pump, enhance blood flow, maybe even build more capillary beds, so that if I can help them recover faster over time, it will help with the overall growth. So again, this is the sort of stuff we would really do for true weak point training. And again, it gives a good idea of where I'm at. Like I said, that waistline needs to tighten up a little more, but it is getting tighter. You still see there's some love handle area there, especially because of the loose skin and everything, but it's like lose body fat, more and more body fat that's going to go away. And you guys see when I'm walking away from the camera now without a belt on, that area has gotten tremendously tighter and smaller, and we're just going to keep working on it. But very, very happy with today's workout, so I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.